Moving along now to lesson number 5, complexity is real. I've just started touching on how complexity is real in terms of what we've just seen. Coming back to my 2004 starting in broking, it was actually quite easy. We would have principal and interest lending or interest only lending in terms of, and we would have a rate that was set for principal and interest, and then interest only was just a term. So you didn't have to worry too much about that. You had fixed rates as well. Everything was relatively smooth when it came to looking after that. The world has changed tremendously now, where we've got owner-occupier and also now investor lending. Okay, so now you have principal and interest attached to owner-occupier. Then you have interest only attached to owner-occupier, and that means that's a higher rate if it's interest only versus being principal and interest. In addition to that, now for investors, there is a higher rate again for investors in terms of interest only and principal and interest. So they pay a higher rate than owner-occupiers do. Don't get me started on that. There's no reason for it. It is profit grabbing. It's about getting that margin up, okay? Because really investors are just as good a lender as owner-occupiers. In fact, there's a lot of research out there that says that investors don't default as much as owner-occupiers do. So another story there. So we see again higher rates for investors, and we also have interest only, which is again a higher rate on top of that also. Now, that is just the start of the complexity. So all of a sudden now, let's start to introduce loan to value ratios. Loan to value ratios, if you're less than or equal to 60% in terms of your peak debt, the debt that you're taking out, what's actually happening here is that will be a cheaper rate, and then if you were say up to 80% loan to value ratio, and that rate will be cheaper again. It'll be cheaper than anything that is 90+%. So anytime you go greater than that 80% or equal to that 80% or less than, all of these rates start to go up or down or up. It's very, very confusing. So you need to be able to understand what's basically happening from lender to lender in regards to all these different rates. You only need to go back on to the websites where you can see, like, actually let's do that. Let's go back and have a look as a good example here, and let's go and have a look at the Bank of Melbourne let's go down to their home loan section, and we can see here how much you're going to borrow, what sort of deposit are you going to be bringing in terms of, is it a 20%, more than that? So they're trying to work out your loan to value ratio. Is it owner-occupied versus investing? Is it principal and interest versus interest only? All of those things will matter when it comes to trying to calculate an interest rate. So it really does highlight that it is getting more and more complex when it comes to trying to find the best deal. Now, in addition to that, if you're thinking about investing, in some cases the interest rate may be important, but it may not be as important as actually getting the borrowing power and being able to complete the deal as part of that story as well. So lesson number 5 is complexity is real. You need to be able to work your way through that complexity. And if you can, that's terrific, because there's savings, potentially thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, if you keep tension on the best interest rates of the day. Now, moving across to lesson number 6. So I hope you took away the important lessons in that video and watched the other videos as well in this series. Now, you're then armed with that information to go and act yourself, but if you do want it done for you, that mortgage review I'm talking about, then why not reach out to the Empower Wealth Mortgage Broking team? All you need to do is click on the link and one of our team will be in contact with you shortly.